This right here is the perfect project car, and I know what you're thinking immediately is, Deacon, of course you'd say that, it's a VN. But this video is not really about this car in particular. What we're talking about in this video is the idea and what you should look for in a project car. This car is a perfect example of where you should start. For anyone that doesn't know what this car is, this is a 1989 Holden VN Commodore. While there were lots of these made, there are not really too many good ones left. Now this one obviously needs some work, and on the channel I've reviewed some other VNs which are in much better condition than this, and it is way too good to be sent straight to the wreckers. A little bit about this car: it's not been registered since 2006. It has been sitting under a carport, and that is why there is some patina on this rear door, and then on this door there is none, and it has the original hubcaps, it has the original motor, and it is very, very high, as you can see. However, like most cars of this vintage, it has suffered in the harsh Aussie sun, and I'm sure that you've noticed the paintwork is far from perfect. So if the paintwork is stuffed, then why am I even making this video? What is the point about this car, and why does this particular one make a perfect project car? If you're buying a project car, especially one with age, you're going to need one with one of these three things. Number one is driveline. Now this car, despite its looks, runs like an absolute dream. I drove it for a little bit yesterday, and it runs and drives fantastic, honestly. It is amazing that this car has been off the road for 20 years and still runs as good as it does. In fact, I'll show you right now. Having a running car is actually important, even if this is not the engine and transmission that you want to end up with. Having it running and driving so you can move it around the shed, so that you can drive it to a panel shop or drive it around, get it registered, and I think that that is one of the three pillars. The car runs and drives and stops and has all of those things ticked off. The second pillar is body and paint. Now, obviously the paint on this car isn't great. It needs a lot of work. However, the body is very, very good. While this car's been parked outside, it has been parked undercover. Underneath the car is very, very tidy. It's not been sitting in a paddock. There is no rust underneath. The rails are dead straight. It is very, very tidy underneath this car. So yes, the paint is poor, but the body is very good. Of course, it would need a going over if you were going to repaint it, but there's no major rust. There's nothing big like that. To me though, this is one of the most important things: a totally complete interior. Now there are a few things that let this interior down. The steering wheel has faded, the speaker grills have lost a bit of colour, and it does need a good clean in here. But it is not missing anything. Every little piece is here, and this is a very rare colour in this car. Just finding this in this colour would be extremely hard, and every car is going to experience something like that. This one does have 155,000 kilometres. From little things like the interior plastics, the seats, original radio, it's got all of its books. This interior really sells this car, I think. Let's imagine that this car has poor paint and panel and the interior is cooked. Getting the interior to this level would be an untold amount of effort. This is what sells the car for me. If we go back to what I said earlier about the three pillars, now if this car had no interior but it had an excellent running gear and it had excellent body and paint, and the interior was a bit of a letdown, okay, I might consider that, because you'll be able to find a donor car and something like that, and that happens a lot with people stripping Kingswoods and stuff and then never touching them. I feel like the interior is the most important one because it is very hard to find. To get a car like this, you would just have to find one like this and just wreck it and pull all of the interior out. And on a side note, what a weird colour combination: a bright blue car with mulberry interior. Very, very strange. I know my nose is stuffy, but the interior does not stink at all. It smells really, really nice. Now, to prove even more how cool this car is, I've just had a look through the glove box, and this is the original bill of sale. Now, this is wild. This is really, really cool. Now, without showing anyone's details, it was bought for $17,180 in '91 as a second-hand car from, looks like, Budget Insurance, and they traded in at Brown HQ with 60,000 kilometers for $400 of equity. So that is really cool. This is why this car is such a solid base for a project car. Now, what is the go of this car? Is this mine? Now, this car is not my car, and I will not be buying this car. The only reason is because I already have two VNs, and while this one is great, I don't really need another one. And more importantly, this particular one is not for sale. Follower has very generously lent it to me for this video, and because it has not been registered for 20 years, I can't actually drive it and take it on the road, unfortunately. But regardless, I still hope that you enjoyed this video and just a little walk around of this car. Now, because I do so many videos about VNs, I'm trying not to get too specific. If this was your car, what would you want to do with it? Would you clear over the patina or do a few little tidy up things? I think that's what the owner's plan is for this car. He has a lot of VNs and they're in very good condition, and I think that this one will join them. I love that these cars are getting to an age where they're starting to be looked after and restored and stuff. So I'm really happy with this thing, and I'm more than happy to share the stories that come with these cars, and there is plenty more coming. If you guys enjoy this video, please subscribe and follow along with what I do here. I'm going to have a lot more cars like this coming along, and if they are registered, then I will drive them on the road. So thank you for watching.